15 ultimate muscle cars we missed, the real greatest. You've been telling us in the comments, where's the L88 Corvette? How could you miss the GT40? What about the Ram Air 4? You forgot the Boss 429. And you know what? You're absolutely right. We've been building these lists, showcasing incredible muscle cars, but we've been holding back on some of the most legendary machines ever built. Today that changes. This is the list you've been demanding. The ultimate collection of muscle car legends that we somehow missed in our previous videos. These aren't just great cars. These are the machines that automotive historians consider the absolute pinnacle of American performance engineering. We're talking about cars so legendary that just mentioning their names makes true muscle car enthusiasts stop what they're doing and pay attention. Cars that achieve performance numbers that still seem impossible today. Cars that proved American engineering could create automotive art that happened to have engines and wheels. But here's what makes this list different from everything else we've done. Every single car on this countdown was suggested by you, our viewers, the people who know muscle car history better than most automotive journalists. This isn't our list. This is your list, featuring the cars you demanded we cover. And wait until you see number 1. It's the car that more of you mentioned than any other, a machine so legendary that leaving it off previous lists was apparently considered automotive sacrilege by people who really know their muscle car history. So this is for everyone who's been waiting patiently for us to finally give these legends the recognition they deserve. The wait is over. Number 15, 1969, Pontiac Trans Am Ram Air 4. You asked for it, and here it is. The Trans Am that proved Pontiac could build engines that would embarrass cars costing twice as much. The Ram Air 400 was Pontiac's most powerful production engine, and in the lightweight Trans Am chassis, it created something that redefined what mid-size muscle cars could accomplish. The Ram Air 4 wasn't just about horsepower numbers. It was about the kind of engineering precision that made every component work together perfectly. The engine featured round port cylinder heads, a radical camshaft, and induction systems that maximized airflow in ways that impressed even Chevrolet engineers. Period road tests show Ram Air Feed Trans Ams running consistent 13.9-second quarter miles. Times that were genuinely impressive for a 400 cubic inch engine. But the real magic was in the Trans Am's handling, which combined genuine muscle car acceleration with sports car cornering ability that most big block cars couldn't match. The Ram Air 4 Trans Am represented everything that was right about Pontiac engineering. Sophisticated performance delivered through intelligent design, wrapped in styling that looked fast even when parked. It was the thinking man's muscle car, for people who understood that true performance came from the total package rather than just engine displacement. Pontiac built only 697 Ram Air 4 Trans Ams in 1969, making them rarer than most exotic cars. Today, finding an authentic Ram Air 4 Trans Am is like discovering automotive treasure, proving that sometimes the most valuable cars are the ones that combine genuine performance with limited production numbers. Number 14, 1968 Hurst Olds 442. The Hurst Olds proved that sometimes the best muscle cars came from unexpected collaborations. When Hurst Performance and Oldsmobile joined forces, the result was something that combined sophisticated luxury with devastating performance in ways that impressed even the most jaded muscle car enthusiasts. The 455 cubic inch engine in Hurst Olds trim produced massive torque that made acceleration feel effortless. While other manufacturers focused on peak horsepower numbers, the Hurst Olds delivered the kind of low-end grunt that made real-world driving genuinely thrilling, regardless of which gear you happen to be using. What made the Hurst Olds special wasn't just its performance, it was its exclusivity. Only 515 were built in 1968, each one featuring unique Hurst shifters, special wheels, and paint schemes that announced to the world that this wasn't just another 442. It was automotive jewelry that happened to be faster than most sports cars. The Hurst Olds represented the peak of muscle car sophistication, genuine performance delivered through premium components, wrapped in styling that was distinctive without being cartoonish. It attracted customers who wanted maximum performance but weren't willing to sacrifice luxury or exclusivity to get it. Today, the Hurst Olds is considered one of the most desirable muscle cars ever built, proving that sometimes the most memorable cars are the ones that combine genuine performance with limited availability and premium execution. Number 13. 1970 Ford Mustang Boss 429. The Boss 429 was Ford's admission that they could build something genuinely intimidating when properly motivated. The 429 semi-Hemi engine was developed for NASCAR dominance. And when Ford made it available in street Mustangs, the result was something that redefined what pony cars could accomplish. The Boss 429 engine was so large that Ford had to completely re-engineer the Mustang's front end to make it fit. The shock towers were relocated, the suspension was modified, and the hood required special clearance just to contain the massive power plant. It was like performing surgery on a Mustang to install a racing engine. But the effort was worth it. The Boss 429 delivered performance that embarrassed cars with much larger engines, proving that advanced cylinder head design and precise engineering could overcome displacement disadvantages. It was Ford's most sophisticated street engine, wrapped in America's most popular sports car. Only 1,359 Boss 429 Mustangs were built across 2 years, making them among the rarest production Mustangs ever created. Each one represented Ford's commitment to building the ultimate street/strip performance machine, regardless of the engineering challenges involved. The Boss 429 proved that sometimes the most impressive engineering achievements come from solving impossible problems. Ford took their most advanced racing engine and made it work in a production car, creating something that combined NASCAR-proven power with street-legal accessibility. Number 12. 1969 Chevrolet Nova SS 396 L78. The Nova SS L78 was Chevrolet's ultimate sleeper, a car that looked like basic transportation but could embarrass muscle cars that cost significantly more money. The L78 396 engine produced 375 horsepower, and in the lightweight Nova chassis, it created acceleration that seemed to violate the laws of physics. The beauty of the Nova SS was its subtlety. The Nova SS looked like something your grandmother might drive to church. Then you'd fire it up, and that L78 big block would announce that appearances could be very deceiving. Period road tests show L78 Nova SS models running consistent 13.3-second quarter miles, times that embarrassed much more expensive muscle cars. The combination of serious power and lightweight created a power-to-weight ratio that few other cars could match, regardless of their price or pedigree. The Nova SS L78 represented the purest expression of muscle car philosophy, maximum performance for minimum money, delivered without unnecessary frills or flashy styling. It attracted buyers who understood that the best muscle cars were often the ones that didn't look like muscle cars. Today, finding an authentic L78 Nova SS is extremely difficult because most people didn't recognize their significance when they were new. They were just fast Chevrolets that happened to be capable of embarrassing much more famous muscle cars. Number 11. 1970 Plymouth AAR Cuda. The AAR Cuda was Plymouth's homologation special for Trans Am racing, and it represented everything that was right about turning race cars into street cars. The AAR featured styling so aggressive that it looked like it belonged on a racetrack, backed by performance that proved it actually did. The 340 small block with triple two-barrel carburetors created power delivery that was immediate and overwhelming. While big block muscle cars relied on displacement for power, the AAR proved that intelligent engineering could extract devastating performance from smaller engines when properly executed. The side exhaust pipes weren't just for show. They were functional performance components that created a sound unlike anything else on the road. The AAR announced its presence from several blocks away, making every drive feel like a rolling advertisement for Plymouth's racing program. Only 2,724 AAR Cudas were built, and most were driven hard by owners who understood their racing heritage. Finding an original unmodified AAR Cuda today is like discovering automotive archaeology, because so few survived in their original configuration. The AAR Cuda proved that sometimes the most memorable muscle cars are the ones built for specific purposes rather than general appeal. It was a genuine race car made street legal, appealing to customers who wanted authentic racing performance rather than just the appearance of speed. Number 10. 1969 Dodge Super B 6-Pack. The Super B 6-Pack was Dodge's answer to the Plymouth Roadrunner, but with extra attitude and performance that made it genuinely intimidating to encounter on the street. The 446-pack engine delivered power that was immediate, overwhelming, and completely devastating to anything that challenged it. The 6-pack carburetor setup created throttle response that modern fuel injection struggles to match. When you mashed the accelerator, those outer carburetors opened instantly, delivering acceleration that felt like being launched from a catapult. It was mechanical violence disguised as transportation. What made the Super B special was its no-compromise attitude. While other manufacturers offered luxury options and convenience features, Dodge gave you the bare minimum interior and spent every available dollar making the car go faster. The Super B was for people who prioritize performance over everything else. The Super B 6-Pack could consistently run 13.5-second quarter miles, performance that embarrassed cars costing significantly more money. It proved that sometimes the best muscle cars were the ones that focused entirely on speed rather than trying to be everything to everyone. But wait until you see what's coming next. The cars we're about to reveal aren't just legendary. They're the machines that redefined what American performance cars could accomplish. Number 9. 1970 Chevrolet Monte Carlo SS 454 LS5. The Monte Carlo SS proved that Chevrolet could build a luxury muscle car that didn't compromise performance for comfort. The LS5454 engine delivered massive torque that made acceleration feel effortless, wrapped in styling that was sophisticated enough for country club parking lots. The Monte Carlo SS represented a different approach to muscle car design. Instead of building cars that announced their performance intentions through aggressive styling, Chevrolet created something that looked like luxury transportation, but could embarrass genuine sports cars when provoked. The LS5 engine produced 360 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque, numbers that created real-world performance that was genuinely impressive. The Monte Carlo's longer wheelbase and luxury-oriented suspension made it the perfect highway cruiser that happened to be capable of devastating acceleration. Only 3,823 Monte Carlo SS models were built in 1970, making them relatively rare compared to other Chevrolet muscle cars. They attracted buyers who wanted genuine performance but preferred sophisticated styling over aggressive muscle car aesthetics. The Monte Carlo SS proved that muscle cars didn't have to look intimidating to be genuinely fast. Sometimes the most effective approach was to build something that looked civilized but could deliver shocking performance when needed. Number 8. 1968 Shelby GT500 KR. The GT500 KR, King of the Road, was Carroll Shelby's declaration that he could build the ultimate American muscle car by combining Ford's most powerful engine with his own performance modifications. The 428 Cobra jet engine in Shelby trim created something that redefined what Mustang-based cars could accomplish. The KR wasn't just about raw power. It was about the total performance package. Shelby's modifications included functional aerodynamics, upgraded suspension components, and styling details that made the car look fast even when parked. It was automotive art that happened to be devastatingly quick. Road tests consistently showed GT500 running mid-13-second quarter miles, performance that embarrassed cars costing significantly more money. But the real advantage was in the car's handling, which combined muscle car acceleration with sports car cornering ability that most big block cars couldn't match. The GT500 KR represented the peak of Shelby's street car development, genuine racing technology made available to customers who wanted the ultimate expression of American performance. It was accessible racing heritage wrapped in stunning styling. Only 1,053 GT500 KRs were built, making them among the rarest Shelby Mustangs ever created. Each one represented Carroll Shelby's vision of what American muscle cars could become when built without compromise or cost-cutting. Number 7. 1969 Chevrolet Chevelle 427. The COPO 427 Chevelle was Chevrolet's way of building cars that technically weren't supposed to exist. The central office production order system allowed dealers to special order combinations that bypassed GM's official restrictions, creating some of the most powerful muscle cars ever built. The L88 427 engine in the Chevelle created a combination that was genuinely intimidating to encounter. With 425 horsepower from a proven racing engine, the COPO Chevelle delivered performance that embarrassed cars, with much more exotic reputations and significantly higher prices. What made the COPO Chevelle special was its rarity and authenticity. These weren't aftermarket conversions or dealer modifications. They were genuine factory-built cars that happened to be more powerful than anything Chevrolet officially offered in the Chevelle line. Road tests showed Chevelles running consistent 12.8-second quarter miles, times that put them among the fastest muscle cars ever tested. The combination of the L88 engine and the Chevelle's balanced chassis created something that was both brutally fast and surprisingly refined. Today, COPO Chevelle are among the most valuable muscle cars ever built, proving that sometimes the rarest cars are also the most desirable ones. They represent the peak of what was possible when manufacturers were willing to bend their own rules. Number 6. 1970 Buick GSX Stage 1. The GSX Stage 1 proved that Buick could build a muscle car that would embarrass anything in Chevrolet or Pontiac showrooms. The Stage 1 455 engine produced more torque than any other production engine available, creating acceleration that felt like being pushed by natural disasters. The GSX wasn't just about the engine, it was about the total package. Buick's engineers had created something that combined devastating performance with genuine luxury, appealing to customers who wanted both speed and sophistication in the same vehicle. The Stage 1 engine made 360 horsepower and 510 pound-feet of torque, numbers that created real-world performance that was genuinely shocking. The massive torque curve meant the GSX could accelerate brutally from any RPM, in any gear, making it devastatingly effective in real-world driving situations. Only 678 GSX models were built in 1970, making them among the rarest muscle cars ever produced. They attracted buyers who understood that sometimes the most impressive performance comes from unexpected sources, and that Buick's engineering capabilities were seriously underestimated. The GSX Stage 1 proved that muscle car excellence wasn't limited to the obvious manufacturers. Sometimes the most impressive cars came from companies that nobody expected to build genuine performance machines. Number 5. 1970 Oldsmobile 442 W30. The 442 W30 was Oldsmobile's ultimate expression of sophisticated muscle car engineering. The W30 package transformed the already impressive 442 into something that could embarrass much more famous muscle cars, while providing the kind of refinement that other manufacturers couldn't match. The 455 cubic inch engine with W30 modifications produced 370 horsepower, but the real advantage was in the power band that provided devastating acceleration throughout the entire RPM range. This wasn't just peak power. This was usable performance that made every drive genuinely thrilling. Road tests consistently showed W3044s running 13.2-second quarter miles, times that put them among the fastest muscle cars of their era. But the W30 achieved this performance while providing the kind of smooth, refined operation that made daily driving genuinely pleasant. The W30 represented everything that was right about Oldsmobile's approach to muscle cars. Maximum performance delivered through sophisticated engineering, wrapped in styling that was aggressive without being cartoonish. It attracted customers who wanted both speed and class. Only 3,547 W3044s were built in 1970, making them relatively rare compared to other muscle cars. They proved that sometimes the most desirable cars are the ones that combine genuine performance with limited production numbers and premium execution. Number 4. 1969 Ford Mustang Boss 302. The Boss 302 was Ford's precision instrument in a world of sledgehammers. While other manufacturers focused on building the most powerful engines possible, Ford created something that was perfectly balanced for both street and track use, proving that intelligence could be just as effective as brute force. The engine had been developed specifically for Trans Am racing, where handling was just as important as straight-line acceleration. Ford's engineers had created something that could rev to racing RPMs, while providing the kind of throttle response that made every drive feel like a racing experience. What made the Boss 302 truly special was its total performance package. The engine was matched to suspension components, aerodynamic aids, and styling details that worked together to create something that was genuinely impressive on both street and track. It was a complete performance machine rather than just a powerful engine. Road tests showed Boss 302s running consistent 14.5-second quarter miles, times that were impressive for a 302 cubic inch engine. But the real magic happened on road courses, where the Boss 302 could embarrass cars with much more powerful engines through superior handling and balance. The Boss 302 proved that muscle car excellence wasn't just about displacement and horsepower. Sometimes the most impressive cars were the ones that combined moderate power with exceptional engineering and perfect balance. Number 3. 1967 Chevrolet Camaro Z28. The original Z28 was Chevrolet's answer to everyone who said American cars couldn't handle. The DZ302 engine had been specifically designed for Trans Am racing, and when Chevrolet made it available to the public, the result was something that redefined what pony cars could accomplish. The Z28 wasn't just about the engine. It was about the total package that had been designed to excel in competition. Every component had been chosen for performance rather than cost, creating something that was genuinely impressive in ways that went far beyond straight-line acceleration. The DZ302 engine could rev to racing RPMs while providing the kind of instant throttle response that made the Z28 feel like a street-legal race car. Combined with suspension components borrowed from Chevrolet's racing program, the Z28 created a driving experience that was genuinely thrilling. Trans Am racing proved the Z28's superiority in direct competition with the best cars from other manufacturers. Chevrolet's investment in genuine racing technology had created something that could win on Sunday and be driven on Monday, proving that race car technology could be made accessible to regular customers. The Z28 represented the birth of the modern performance car, sophisticated engineering delivered through genuine racing technology, made available to customers who understood that true performance came from the total package rather than just engine power. Number 2. 1968 Chevrolet Corvette L88. Here it is, the car so many of you demanded we include. The L88 Corvette was Chevrolet's admission that they could build something genuinely scary when properly motivated. The L88 engine was developed for racing, and when Chevrolet made it available to civilians, the result was something that redefined what production cars could accomplish. The L88 was officially rated at 430 horsepower, but everyone knew that was a lie designed to keep insurance companies happy. Real-world dyno tests consistently showed the L88 making over 500 horsepower, numbers that made it more powerful than most exotic cars, costing significantly more money. What made the L88 truly special wasn't just its power. It was the fact that Chevrolet was essentially selling racing engines to anyone brave enough to handle them. The L88 came with no radio, no heater, and no warranty coverage for competition use, because Chevrolet knew exactly what buyers intended to do with them. Road tests showed properly prepared L88 Corvettes running consistent 11-second quarter miles, times that were genuinely shocking for 1968. The L88 proved that American manufacturers could build cars that were just as fast as anything from Europe, often for significantly less money. Only 216 L88 Corvettes were built across 3 years, making them among the rarest production Corvettes ever created. Each one represented Chevrolet's commitment to building the ultimate performance machine, regardless of cost or compromise. Number 1. 1966 to 1969 Ford GT40, the ultimate American muscle car. And yes, it absolutely counts as a muscle car because it was built by an American company using American engineering to prove American automotive superiority on the world stage. The GT40 wasn't just fast, it was the car that humiliated Ferrari at Le Mans and proved that American engineering could beat the best Europe had to offer. The GT40 was born from Henry Ford II's determination to embarrass Enzo Ferrari after a business deal went bad. Ford invested millions in creating something that could dominate international racing, and the result was a car that redefined what American automotive engineering could accomplish when properly motivated. The 427 cubic inch engine in racing trim produced over 500 horsepower, but the real advantage was in the GT40's advanced aerodynamics and lightweight construction. Ford had built something that combined American power with sophisticated engineering that impressed even European racing teams. Le Mans proved the GT40's superiority in the most direct way possible. Ford didn't just beat Ferrari, they dominated them so completely that it changed international perceptions of American automotive capabilities. The GT40 proved that American engineering could be just as sophisticated as anything Europe produced. Street versions of the GT40 were built in limited numbers, making them among the rarest American performance cars ever created. But every GT40, whether built for racing or street use, represented the peak of what American automotive engineering could achieve when money was no object and winning was the only goal. The GT40 proved that American muscle car philosophy could work on any stage, against any competition, when backed by proper engineering and unlimited determination. It was the ultimate vindication of American automotive capabilities. 15 legendary muscle cars that proved the golden age of American performance was even more incredible than we originally thought. These machines represent the absolute peak of what American automotive engineering accomplished during the greatest era in automotive history. From the precision engineering of the Boss 302 to the raw brutality of the L88 Corvette, from the sophisticated luxury of the GSX Stage 1 to the international dominance of the GT40, these cars prove that muscle car excellence took many different forms, but always represented the same fundamental philosophy: build it fast, build it powerful, and build it without apologies. These cars were suggested by you, our viewers, the people who understand muscle car history better than most automotive journalists. You recognized that we'd been missing some of the most important cars ever built, and you made sure we knew about it. This list exists because you demanded excellence and wouldn't accept anything less. The beautiful thing about these cars is that they represent every aspect of what made the muscle car era special. Raw power, sophisticated engineering, limited production, racing heritage, and the fundamental American belief that there's no replacement for displacement and no substitute for horsepower. Every car on this list represents a different approach to the same goal: building the fastest, most exciting cars possible using American engineering and American determination. They proved that the muscle car era wasn't just about one or two legendary cars. It was about an entire industry dedicated to making dreams come true with wheels and engines. Which of these ultimate muscle car legends do you think represents the absolute peak of American automotive achievement? Which one would you choose if you could own any car from the golden age of muscle? And more importantly, are there any other legendary machines that we still need to cover in future videos? Let us know in the comments which of these automotive legends captured your imagination, and keep those suggestions coming. Your knowledge and passion for muscle car history make these videos possible, and we're always looking for the next legendary machine to feature. If this ultimate collection of muscle car legends reminded you why the golden age of American performance was so special, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Next week, we're diving into another aspect of muscle car history that'll make you appreciate just how incredible this era really was. Thanks for riding along through this celebration of the ultimate muscle car legends. And remember, sometimes the most legendary cars are the ones that prove American engineering could accomplish anything when properly motivated.